Can we talk about the Black Swan, man? Can we talk about the Black Swan? Do you guys know about, first of all, do you guys know about the Black Swan? Let's start there, you know what I mean? Because we got a bunch of uneducated normies. Oh, these normies! Do you guys know about Black Swan? Okay, I'm seeing some energy in the chat. People know about Black Swan. I'll TLDR Black Swan, and then I want to discuss Black Swan in Doomsday, potentially, and just in general, because, man, a lot of my hopes and dreams fucking fly on the wings of this being true, and I want to explain why. So, Black Swan is a really interesting character. She pops up in the first issue of New Avengers, all the way back, I think it's technically the end of 2011 or the beginning of 2012, and it was the first issue of the big Jonathan Hickman run, the Illuminati gather. What happens is there is an incursion, and it happens in Wakanda. Okay? This portal opens up, actually like a crazy-ass rhino, like just kind of randomly goes through this portal, and these people in Wakanda are like, what the fuck? And so Black Panther goes through this portal, and he sees this character, Black Swan. Okay, and she's just depicted as like almost like an albino white goth chick with all white hair, you know, some black leather vibes, definitely, definitely a look. Okay, and so we know very little of her at first. She ends up coming through the portal into 616 and destroying the Earth behind her. Okay, so this is actually pretty fucking crazy. Like, T'Challa's there, he's chilling, he goes through the portal, he sees this chick, and she's on this other planet, and she's like floating towards him, and then the Earth behind her fucking explodes. That's quite a sight to see. You know, you're Black Panther, the king of Wakanda, you come through a portal in your own country, and you see this white woman flying down from an Earth that explodes behind her. I mean, to say they're not dodging the allegations is like, you know, an understatement, right? So this is fucking crazy. She comes through the portal. They end up capturing her, okay? And they keep her. The Illuminati keep her. And she becomes a very useful story device as we learn more about what is actually going on in the multiverse. Who does she work for? What's the fucking deal? Okay, now what's really cool about this character is what is eventually revealed about her. It is eventually revealed that she was saved in the multiverse by a figure known as Rabum Alal, the Great Destroyer. This is a character that is kind of referenced throughout the many years of this comic book run. As the multiverse is collapsing, many different fun things happen. And in the background, there's this character known as the Great Destroyer, Rabum Alal. And the Black Swans, and this Black Swan that we met here, she works for him. There is an entire religion that worships Rabum Alal as a god, for he will win the game of worlds, unmake what is, and remake all of reality. And she serves him. And so the very beginning of this whole story happens in Wakanda, and a character that was directed by Doctor Doom in the past, Black Swan, is blowing up a planet and coming through the 616 and spending time with the Avengers. Now, the reason that's relevant to the MCU and why MCU fans and fans like myself that are really big fans of this comic book story, the reason we get caught up on this and we're so excited is because, my God, if the Black Swan shit is true, then it means Rabum Alal. Then it means the Game of Worlds. Then it means something that right now we don't know if we're actually going to get, and that is the proper setup and the execution of Time Runs Out. One of the greatest, it's literally one of the greatest Marvel stories ever told. An incredible time as a Marvel Comics fan, and it's a big part of why when Secret Wars was first being teased and hinted at by Marvel Studios, I was getting so excited because I was like, dude, oh my God. We are going to get Time Runs Out in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. That's absolutely incredible. Now, we're about to go over this article here. This is on comicbookmovie.com, and it references a scoop from James Mack. Now, you guys know I've talked a lot of shit on James Mack, and I actually don't think he's very good. Now, here's one of the things. You might be like, wait a minute, why are we talking about him then? Because it was recently revealed to me that James Mack actually did get a whole host of actual leaks from a Discord server where all of the big scoopers and leakers hang out. So a lot of the leaking and scooping cabal, all of these different people, like your My Time to Shine, your Daniel, your Alex Perez, all these different people, they all exist in a Discord server together. And somehow, some way, James Mack got a hold of a huge amount of actual leaks from that Discord server, and he has been posting them. Now, here's the thing about this. The issue is, these are old leaks. I don't think James Mack actually has active access to this Discord. I think he got a bunch of screenshots from back in the day. Okay? So, I don't know that, he still has accurate information, but I know that he's referencing a whole list of stuff that was accurate at one time. But there's this other element here which makes it just get so gloobly glob that like a lot of people's eyes just glaze over and we're like, okay, well, then I don't know what the fuck to believe. It's also the case that Discord could have been putting out fake info to try to prove that something like this was happening, that James Mack was in there taking their scoops or whatever. So, with all of that fucking said, a lot of caveats and, but I got to give you a little bit of context here, this, that, second, and the third. We arrive at this place. The real story here, guys, is I know for certain that in that Discord where all of the scoopers get their actual leaks from their big sources, Black Swan was revealed to be real. And that's why James Mack is talking about it. Whether or not it is still real, I don't know, but that's why he's talking about it. So let's go over this report and then we'll speculate a little bit more. With it looking increasingly likely that we'll be getting a first look at Avengers Doomsday before 2025 is over, excitement for the movie is still building after a summer's that's been surprisingly light on updates. We started this year with the first few teases from the Russo brothers as they promoted Electric State, while March brought an epic cast reveal. A couple of leaks have followed, but we got no meaningful set photos. Productions has since wrapped until the reshoots, at least. Scooper James Mack, a relatively new scooper on the scene because he just broke into the leaking thing and got all their stuff, but has a solid track record after sharing accurate costume details of the movie's lead characters a few weeks before they showed up on social media. Now he's offered a few more intriguing Avengers Doomsday updates, including the fact that the actors not officially announced to appear are supporting characters, cameos, or surprise appearances. However, he expects Brie Larson, Tiana Paris, and Sophie DiMartina and Benedict Cumberbatch to be confirmed shortly, as they'll have important roles. Now that's good to hear. Again, take everything that James Mack says with a grain of salt, because number one, we don't know. He doesn't seem to have information, but he did have access to some accurate information in the past. But things could have changed, right? But I do think that that's cool, man. I would expect Benedict Cumberbatch at least to actually have an important role, for sure. It was recently reported again that Ghost Rider will appear in Avengers Doomsday, and Mack believes that he'll be a new actor taking the role, not a returning Nick Cage. I actually think the opposite. I think it will be Nick Cage, but we'll see. He also claims that our heroes will use Cerebro to search for Franklin Richards. With an Avengers vs. X-Men battle set to take place in Avengers vs. Doomsday, not a separate project, the recent tease shared by the Russos led to speculate about that being the case, but it seems that this fight will be confined to the upcoming blockbusters. Now, let's stop for a second on that. I do think... So Daniel's reporting that X-Men universe is potentially hostile, and that they've potentially destroyed universes. Them looking for Franklin is quite interesting, because Franklin is a mutant. At least he was in the comics. So I'm kind of interested in how that could all work, and if the mutants lay some claim on Franklin because he is, this powerful mutant, and maybe they see him as potentially on their side or something. That could be kind of interesting. I wonder if that will eventually lead to that whole X-Men versus Avengers conflict, man. Because a lot of rumors about that. By the way, I have a big video coming out later today that's going to break a lot of stuff down with low-key the X-Men and the Secret Avengers. It's a dope 20-plus minute video that I think you guys are going to love. So make sure you check that out. But yeah, so that's kind of interesting, right? X-Men looking for Franklin. Wonder what you guys think about that. But anyway, here's the next part. The insiders also indicated that we'll see a Bucky variant suit up as Captain America in The Void, and that Black Swan will make her MCU debut in Secret Wars. Interesting. In Secret Wars. Huh. Interesting. I feel like if we get Black Swan in Secret Wars, that means like flashbacks. That would mean like explaining some of the stuff that had come before. And I also would love it because I think another thing that we're all thinking about here is like that secret third movie, right? Is there potentially another third Avengers movie? Alex Perez, as early as March of this year, was still teasing that as a distinct possibility. There's this talk of like a movie in 2027 that would be 20 years of MCU, possibly a reboot movie or something to do as a part 2 of Secret Wars. There was still rumors up until a couple of weeks ago when The Simpsons 2 took the Marvel date in summer of 2027. Marvel still had a date, and there was big time speculation that there would be another Marvel movie there. The thing about that is, guys, the reason people still believe that that is the case is because it feels necessary. It feels like you can't tell this story properly without going back a bit, without filling in some of the gaps, without really explaining a lot, right? That's a part of why so many folks think there has to be something else. But conversely, if there is nothing else, if they've really decided, oh no, it's just going to be Secret Wars as like the biggest fucking movie ever, then that implies that Secret Wars itself has to be insane. That Secret Wars is going to have to cover a lot of that same ground because either way, you need to. Right? I don't know. I mean, maybe I could live with a bit of Secret Wars being a flashback. It's hard to say, though, because I think part of what... So the way I view Secret Wars, right? I kind of view it as like a 3-part movie. I think part 1 is like Doom is God, and he's holding everything together, and most of the characters there don't remember the old world. And I think there will be some characters that do remember. So like the characters that survive in the craft, much like Hickman's Secret Wars. So I think part of it's going to be the Avengers or, you know, the multiversal Avengers or whatever, surviving the collapse of the multiverse, and then they are going to be there on the Void or on Battleworld trying to fight against Doom and figure out what's going on. I think part 2 of the movie, though, will be a multiversal group that wants to go collect powerful Avengers from, like, maybe dead timelines. Like, maybe there's a way to, like, visit these dead timelines and grab people out of those timelines and bring them to Secret Wars. And then I think those 2 plots will converge at the end of Secret Wars with, like, a really big battle that will have all this crazy shit going on while also then addressing directly like Doom, the multiverse, and all of that. And it's probably Tony versus Doom at the end, right? But maybe there's a third element here. And the third element could be explaining how we got here. Like, how did Doom actually conceive of his plan? What were his generals actually doing? But it feels very tricky to like tie that into those other 2 plots, right? How can Black Swan be in Secret Wars and feel satisfying as a character if there isn't flashbacks? You know? So I don't really know. I don't really know what to say. I really hope that Black Swan is a part of this thing, you know? And, you know, the other week, Alex Perez had this thing where he said, don't trust Clea or whatever. And I remember being excited about that when he tweeted it. I mean, that is directly from that big list of leaks from that Discord server that just got leaked. So, like, Alex waited on that because I think those leaks are old, bro. Alex waited on those leaks for a long time. Or somebody from that Discord is leaking stuff, like, right now. And James Mack might just be in there right now, which is also kind of crazy to think about. But if it's the other way, like, so if it's literally that this was year old and they're just now talking about it, then it's like, okay, is Clea even still a part of it? Is Clea even still a part of it? Is Black Swan and Clea, are they both on the same thing? Are they on opposite sides? What is exactly going on here? I'm not really sure. But I guess the best thing I could do to offer up to you guys is that I know for sure that very accurate leakers had information about Black Swan. And I know for sure that Marvel Studios had plans for Black Swan. But I don't know that they're still going to happen. I hope that they do. And if they do, it opens the door to like a whole realm of possibilities that I think would be really cool for Marvel fans. Like to be able to experience a little bit of Time Runs Out. That's all I want. Kevin, that's all I want. All I want is to experience a little bit of Time Runs Out in the next couple of years of Marvel as you do Doctor Doom. I mean, she worships Rabam Al-Al. Maybe that's what they'll do is like, maybe the Secret Wars MCU version of the Black Swan is just these powerful females, these femme fatale characters from around the galaxy that just worship Doom. Like maybe that's what it is. That feels a little uninspired, especially compared to what it was. So I want there to be some more juice there. But either way, that's kind of the story. What do you guys make of this, man? Chat, what do you think of this? What do you make of this shit? I like Time Runs Out more than the Battleworld stuff. I like both a lot, but the Time Runs Out stuff, I need the Time Runs Out stuff. I really want Time Runs Out stuff. Josh, you think they'll be going back Scarlett Johansson, Black Widow for any of these Avengers movies? I feel like yes, but I'm not sure. Do you think incursions will be the same thing as timelines dying in Loki? No. Well, sort of, yes. I mean, yeah, sort of, yes. And they'll still tie up Kang, which I think they'll do in the end. Yeah, I think they'll hopefully tie up Kang, and maybe the Black Swans is a way to do that. Mario's hating on Holland. I actually like Tom Holland as Spider-Man, dude. I give Holland some shit, but I like Tom Holland as Spider-Man. Time Runs Out stuff is better. They're both very good, but yeah, I mean, the Time Runs Out stuff is like, it has more depth to it, right? Because Secret Wars, like, part of the thing with Secret Wars was a little bit of like, oh shit, Battleworld is so crazy. And you're kind of like looking around trying to absorb it as you go. Whereas Time Runs Out is like long form, slow burn. Like, you're getting through these stories, man. And yeah, so Time Runs Out, there's a reason it's called like the greatest story ever. It really is probably Marvel's greatest long-form story ever told. Years and years and years. It's not perfect. You know, when I revisited it, there's a couple of things like at the end of that run, there's a couple of issues where like they wrap up a bajillion things all at once. Like there's an issue with Hank Pym that's like, wow, okay, that's a lot of exposition. And then there's an issue with Doom and Strange that's very similar. Because they kind of like, they get to the end of this long-form run and they're like, oh shit, well, Secret Wars is coming out. We need to wrap some of this stuff up, and then they do it really fast. But otherwise, very, very even. Yeah. Especially when you throw in the Infinite stuff with the battle and the builders and all that stuff. Yeah, dude. Infinity was really cool. I like that stuff a lot. And I like the royal family of the Inhumans. You know, Rob talks a lot of shit on them. But I like the Inhumans, man. Come on, man. Karnak. Maximus the Mad. Black Bolt. Medusa. Come on, man. Strange and Clea are the leads of Secret Wars Part 1, which is why they aren't in Doomsday. Well, it could be why they're maybe barely in Doomsday. Maybe they pop up at the end. James Mack is kind of saying, though, and again, take that with a grain of salt, that Steven is going to have a huge role in Doomsday. So what does that mean? What does that mean? How does that translate, you know? Inhumans are Walmart X-Men? What the fuck? You hating. Hey, man, you just be hating over there. Hey, man, you just been hating over there. God damn, bro, you just be hating, you know? Shit. Shit. Hop on Rivals? No, dude, I hopped on Rivals. I've been so frustrated with Rivals lately. I'll hop on, and the moment I'm not having fun, I quit. And you know how you can tell that I've been doing this a lot? When I woke up on Sunday and I fired up Rivals, I was on a 20-hour ban from competitive. 20 hours. So I get on there, man, and the second I start, and that game has become rage bait for me. That game makes me rage. Yeah. So no, I don't think I'll be hopping on Rivals anytime soon.